Hello and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. My very first guest of this week is this incredible singer and songwriter all the way from Germany, known by the name of Ayla. So I'm about to add Ayla into the live now and have a chat with Ayla about her music and what music she's created. So yeah, let's add Ayla in and have a chat with Ayla. Here we go.
Hello, Ayla. How's it going?
Hi. Yeah, it's good here. Thank you. How are you doing over there?
Really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much, Ayla, for taking the time to join my show. It means such an incredible pleasure that you've joined my show today. For people that don't know who you are, Ayla, if you can give like a bit of backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Of course. Yeah, my name is Ayla Schofield, and I'm a country artist from Germany. I'm a songwriter. I released the first two songs of my EP so far, and a couple acoustic tracks. Yeah, I'm located in Germany still, but I'm looking into spending some time in Canada and the US next year. Early this year in February, I had a show with Oliver Anthony in the Netherlands because I'm also a fiddle player, and I joined him and his band as a fiddle player, which was a very awesome experience. Yeah, so I guess this is like the most concise overview I can give everyone.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now. So for my very first question, so you've created incredible original songs, and for the first original song I'm going to mention is In Your Car. Like, what was it like creating In Your Car, and what is the meaning behind this song?
Uh, yeah, in your car, I wrote that song because I have done a lot of long distance with my partner, and so it was, of course, yeah, we had difficult times where it was just hurtful, I would say, spending so much time apart. But then I just also realized that when we did have time together, it makes you value the simple moments much more, which is also where the title is coming from, in your car. Because just stuff like, sitting in a car together and, being silly together becomes so much more valuable if you know that you don't have this all the time. And so I kind of wrote the song in also to put emphasis on the faith that it gives you when you have this connection with someone, and you know that even though you're going to have to separate for a time, you're still going to make it.
So on to my very next question. So you've also created a song called Leave My Heart Open, another great title of a song, by the way. What was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this song?
This is, to me, I think the most, probably the most meaningful song I've ever written, because I wrote it just after my grandma had passed. And yeah, I will always love her. I loved her so much, and it was it came very suddenly when she passed because she had a stroke, and then so I saw her, and the last time I had seen her, everything was fine, and then when I saw her again after, she wasn't able to move or speak or smile even, and that was just a very scary experience seeing her like that, and I didn't quite know how to act or what to say. And it was just me and her in the hospital room, and I knew I had to say goodbye. I knew this was going to be the last time I would see her, and so I decided to sing to her instead of talking because she couldn't answer anyways. And but I found so much, yeah, I felt so much connection with her in that moment, just singing to her and holding her hand, and I knew she could at least hear me, and yeah, and I felt like that this in that moment, music or this singing kind of yeah, connected us in a way that we couldn't have otherwise, and that's why I then afterwards wrote the song for her to yeah, to remember her and remember her love and the connection with her, which I know will always be there even though it's here anymore.
I just want to say I'm sorry about that. And what with the connection thing, like what does connecting to like people, and especially in that moment, what does connection mean to you?
I think um, being in the same space, but not only in the same room, but sharing a moment, sharing this melody that I was singing, which was a song that we both knew, and I knew that she loved the song. And I would say sharing the same emotional space more than the space you're in physically.
So on to my very next question. So what made you decide as a person and especially as an artist to get into singing in the first place?
Um, well, my parents actually always loved country music, and so at
Okay.
home there was always country music playing in the car in the living room. And my dad is also a musician, so I started playing the fiddle very early. Singing came a bit later, but I always knew that listening to music, especially country music, just made me feel more alive than anything else. And that's why I wanted to, well, first start playing the fiddle. And I got into singing because we had a school musical, and I joined the school musical. And I had never been singing before, but then practicing it for the musical, and then standing on stage at the end of the school year and singing in front of everyone was such an amazing experience, which made me decide that I wanted to never stop, pretty much in that moment. And the next year, I applied again for the school musical, and I did the audition, but I didn't get in, which I think gave me a lot of strength, because I was super upset at first, but that made me kind of decide that over the next year I'm going to train so hard so that next year I will get exactly the role I want. And that's kind of where my journey started on singing and also guitar playing. And, you know, when I got my skills up, I started songwriting, and that's where I really realized how much songwriting and creating music, how much that gives me. Like, it makes me feel so alive, and it helps me express things that I think I wouldn't have another way of expressing them.
Next question for yourself. So what does like performing music mean to you? Like especially connection, as we mentioned before, and performing in front of crowds. Like what is the most like exciting part performing in front of crowds?
Um, I would say my goal is always to make people feel the way I feel when I listen to music that I love, and you know, sharing this moment of celebrating uh, whatever music everyone likes listening to. You know, everyone comes together because everyone is there for the music, and that's why it also always depends on the venue where you play at. But if you really play at a venue where people come for the music, it's an amazing feeling. And that's what I mean about the differences. Like I also have been busking a lot. When I first started out, I actually I couldn't have afforded my first the production of my EP if it wasn't for busking. And busking, of course, is very different. But if there's just one person who stops and looks at you and listens to you, then it's already you have your audience, and it's worth it performing for that person. Yeah, and I just want to, you know, make people feel the things that I want to express in my songs, in my stories, and for them to find a way to relate to it.
So on to my very next question. So if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would they be and why?
I would love to co-write a song with Caitlin Smith. She's my favorite songwriter. She's written songs for Dolly Parton. She's written for John Legend and Meghan Trainor, and she also has her own music out. She performs herself as well. I love her voice, and I just think that she's mainly in country, but she goes beyond the genre, and she also writes other stuff. And I think her yeah, the way she crafts songs is just very I feel like for every song you have different ways of connecting with the story. Um and that's why I really admire her, and I would love to co-write with her. Then as far as performing, I would love to perform with the Dixie Chicks because they've always been my favorite band, and especially with the singing, the harmony vocals, and the fiddle playing. So they were always kind of my number one idols, I would say. So getting on stage with them would be amazing. And a third one for me would actually be Ed Sheeran, which is also
Okay.
one of my favorite artists, just because he is such a, to me, such a musical genius. The way he puts on these one-man shows with his loop station, and yeah, to me, it's sometimes not even just like he makes music; he is music because he's doing so much stuff just as one person, and also his songwriting is super unique, which is great. And also, I think the way he started out is very admirable because he also started out as a street performer, and he really started from the ground and became the one he is today.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So if you could go to any country as an artist, like go on tour, like what country and destination would you want to go to and why?
Um, well, I've always wanted to, which next year I will do for sure. um, I've always wanted to go to the US, of course, because I know that there's the biggest like scene for country music, and the biggest audience for it. And also Canada, though. Like Canada and USA would be my dream destinations to finally get to perform there. Also meet other musicians who do what I do, because you have them here too. It's just more rare. Even though I would also generally say um, it doesn't always like matter how big the crowd is or how big the uh, location, the venue is, as long as you have people, if it's 2,000 or 20 people who are there for your music, then it's going to be an amazing experience.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So what advice would you give to your younger self, like looking back over your time in the music industry career, like what advice would you give to your younger self? And if you could go to any decade in time and space, what decade would you want to go to and why?
um as far as my younger self, there's actually not much advice I would give myself, just because I think most of the stuff I would actually do the same again if I could. Um, but I would definitely say that I shouldn't always put so much pressure on myself, because I think that sometimes inhibits my creativity, and just also I think I could have sometimes already been a better artist if I wouldn't have pressured myself so much that I almost drowned in it sometimes. Um, and I would, if I could, I would travel back to, I think, the 1960s to see Johnny Cash perform live.
Yes, yes, I love that. So on to my very next question. So if you could give upcoming artists advice on wanting to start out in the music industry, like what advice would you give to upcoming artists?
I would say that, in my opinion, the key is patience, a lot of patience, and consistency. And yeah, to always be ready for opportunities, because you never know when they might arise, and then you want to be ready, because I think sometimes when you've kind of been stuck on this in the same on the same step of your career for a while, then you sometimes maybe get to the state of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get an opportunity, and then you kind of get a bit lazy about things. And then when something happens where it's like, hey, you can perform here, you can perform with this artist because so and so heard your music, then you want to be ready for that. And generally, I think it's super important to learn your lessons from setbacks, because we are always going to have, no matter what we do in life or what we want to achieve in life, we are always going to have a lot of setbacks on our path. But if we learn our lessons from those, then we're still going to make a step forward. with that setback, because we are gonna advance ourselves personally.
So on to my very last question for you. So what's next for you for the rest of 2024 onwards? Like anything music that you would like to announce on the show?
I'm actually going to release the rest of my EP, which I have 3 more songs coming up. I am going to shoot one more music video for those. There's also one music video actually that I already did shoot that's not out yet, but I'm going to release it in summer. So I'm really excited for to sharing those songs with everyone. And I'm also looking forward to, over the summer, collaborating with more artists here in Germany, because there is country music artists here. They're just a bit more, scattered and rare. But I want to come together with the artists that are here and put together some events. We're actually planning some events right now to do across Germany.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join my show, Aya. It means such an incredible pleasure having you on the show for tonight. Everyone, if you're not following Ayla, please go show her the love and support. We need more inspiring artists like Ayla in this world. So I just want to say thank you again.
Thank you.
Do you have any? No, you're very welcome. Do you have any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show?
Well, no, actually, I wish everyone, wherever you are in the world, an amazing summer. And whatever you do, keep your chin up and be yourself.